Hello. Hello. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi. Hi. Okay. So hello.
Hi.
First thing that I'm going to ask you is that do you understand what you've booked on for, as in past life surrogacy?
Yes, I talked quite extensively with my friend Michelle that came to you. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm really excited. I got to be honest, a little nervous. Do you have a question though? Are you recording this, or do I need to record this?
So I record it.
Okay.
I mean, you can record the if you want, but it may not let you record from that side because
no, that's fine as long as one of us is getting it, because I'd like to. I know I won't remember everything, so.
Yeah, but there is a point of where you do want to sometimes look back at it
Right.
or listen to it again, you know, because sometimes it could be like a couple of days later and you go, oh, is that why I always do that as well? You know,
Right.
It's like little, what I call is golden moments, you know, like you just kind of, oh, is that why I do this? Is that why I do that? And so to me, it's always good to be able to look back at it.
Okay.
Know? There we go. Okay, right. So I am ready at this side if you are ready as well. The one thing that I will say to you is that, you know, it doesn't really matter because you're there and I'm here. The process still works exactly the same. I do distance this stuff like this all the time. The one thing I'll say is because you are on screen and I'm on screen as well, I'm going to change the settings of this to, let me see if I can do it this way. Just so that, there we go. When I'm looking at you, I'm looking straight at the camera. Because if you side, it always looks as if I'm looking away from you. But I'll just change the setting on that and make it, oh, there we go. That's it there. And come on, there we go. Make it as big as possible. Okay, so as I say, there is times that people will actually say that they see, call it transfiguration. It's where the vibration of the past transfigurates over the top of me. So there is occasions where I've had, especially people in the room with me, you know, where they've said, and I've had a couple of people where it's all visual like this, and they say, oh my God, I didn't see you, I saw somebody else sit there. It's probably yourself from the past life that I'm talking about, because that's what would happen, but it doesn't happen all the time. I have to say that to you. It's very rare, but when it does happen, it's very rare. I'm like a camel, by the way. When I drink, I drink. I'm not a sippy person. So there's a frog in my throat as well. Ever since I started speaking to you. Okay, so the other thing is that because I am receiving the energy from yourself, because I'm going to be your surrogate, that actually means that I will hear, see, smell, touch, taste what is going on in that past life from yourself.
Okay.
And it may be more than one life, it may be two lives, it may be, you know, it's one of those moments of where that we don't know how many lives until we actually get in there to see, you know, what's going on. So whether it's one life, two lives, three lives, whatever, then I'll tell you once I'm in there, and then we'll know, because we'll have established that right away. The other thing is that don't be alarmed if I say that I've went in at the point of death, because that is sometimes my entry, is the point of death, and then I'll work my way back to come back to that point, okay? And if you've spoke to Michelle, you've probably heard all about that part.
Yeah, she did tell me that was kind of, you know, strange. I'm just going to redo my computer here. I just don't want to lose connection. I got it plugged in. I just don't want to. Okay, I'm good. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's and I'm glad you actually said that. Yes, I am. I'm just double checking that I am also plugged in. I tend to hardwire to the internet so that I don't lose any Wi-Fi signals. You know, if the Wi-Fi drops off, I'm hardwired, so I'm not going to lose the signal, not unless the power goes out for some strange reason. Okay, right, we're ready then. Yes?
Yes.
At any given time, Colleen, you can stop me and say, I don't want to do this anymore. It may take me a moment to come back out, but I will have heard you, and I will be stopping the process, you know, within me to come back out into this space.
What do I have to do?
You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing, except for pay attention, of course.
Okay. Okay.
Because when I'm actually going through the life, the normal procedure for people is that it will be firing off signals in your brain of connection from that past life to present day. Okay, and you know, we will have a discussion about it directly after it, and then we will do the energetic part if you want to do the energetic part, and then we'll again have a small discussion again. So but for me, it's you just need to, in a sense, enjoy this part. Okay, it's a very awakening moment for you, because it should be connecting up to various different points in your life just now.
Okay.
The part of, excuse me, seems to be a bit of lipstick here. The part of the past life process, or retrieving the past life process, is to identify how that's connecting to you in this life. Because normally there will be certain patterns that will show up, you know, that connect us. Okay? Right? Okay. Only takes me that few breaths just to get in there, make that connection, and then basically, you know, I will just, as I say, just start. Okay. Okay, I am female. When I use the phrase I, it means you in the past life. When I use the phrase you, it's still you in the past life. It just means that I'm experiencing it from different perceptions of vibration. I'm female. I am roughly about 22 years of age, possibly 23. You don't really count the years, if I can put it that way. So I've came into a point of not so much death, but brutality here. So I'm just going to go with it. And if we have to go back in the life, then I will, and we'll go forward as well. As I've came into this moment, I was being brutally kicked into the stomach region just here. I'm just going to put this camera back slightly, just so that I can tilt it and you can still see what I'm speaking of. But just in here at the gut region, this whole process here, and I am coloured in origin, so I am of black or of colour, but not black, more of a deep tan, you know, a deep tan process here. I am of an Indian origin, but not Native American Indian culture. And I have, there is a lot of emotion going on just now. There is a lot of, my mind is of the thought processes that is going on. Is I have 2 small children, and they have taken me away from my children, and I'm trying to go back to them, but when I try and go back, they're beating me. They constantly, this kicking of the stomach, being down in the ground, and I'm. It's like if I just lie here, then maybe they'll just go away. Maybe they will just go away and not harm me anymore, and leave me for my children. But seconds, and instantly there is this, they are dragging me with my hair across the ground, and the ground is not soft. It's a rough terrain, and it's cutting into me. There's foliage all around me, but the foliage has been broken, and there's sharp points to the roots, you know, of the plantation where it's been broken, and it's sharp, and it's cutting into me. It's like, and I'm also quite bewildered because I don't understand why this is even happening. Oh. And then there's this point of where I recognize I'm being dragged along, and with my hair, and the painful because it's pulling. But there's momentary where I recognize certain parts of this plantation. And then there's a moment within me that I actually know, we're heading to the beach, we're heading to the sea. And there's a part of me where I remember stories. And I remember stories of where people were taken before and never heard of again. And I remember those stories. And it's like I flash from this brutal torment here to this moment in my mind of sitting and sitting around my grandmother, and she's telling this story. And she's telling this story of how her mother and father was taken on this ship. And she was telling of her fears and her life without her mother and father. And I remember this. And I instantly go to thinking of my children. And will they one day be telling that story too? And just as that, I feel this crack right onto my lower jawline. And it jolts me out from this memory. And I feel as though it's cracked my jaw. And the pain is in a sense bursting all over that side of me. And then I become aware of the pain in my body and my legs and especially my back and my shoulders have been lacerated with all the foliage in the terrain. And I just feel pained, and then I turn my head and I'm still being dragged by this man. And all of a sudden I see this ship which is sitting out in the water. And there is these little boats. And I think, no, I can't go. I can't go. The emotion is overwhelming. And I'm terrified. But I can't go. I can't leave my children. I scream, and I'm screaming. I'm screaming. And then there is nothing. And then I wake up. And I'm all ready, and I feel these heavy things around my ankles. And I have these heavy weights around my ankles. And I look around, and I see lots of people that I know. And we are all some are crying and some are just sitting. I think I'm never going to see my children. I'm so terrified. I don't know what to do. Days and weeks. And they just leave us chains. Horrible conditions. Horrible. The smell. Smells disgusting. It's vile. And I just want to die. I don't want to live without my children. Precious children. And in this noise of look and at the far end, I can see this long, thick rope, and it falls. And eventually this boat comes to a stop. And I think maybe we'll get off and wash. I want to wash. I want to feel clean. We're sitting in this pit of human waste and a day, 2 days go by. We're still there. We're still sitting there. And then, to my horror, the deep, desperate feelings of just sadness as I see more people. And then I begin to realize that we're all the same color. And our captors are not. And in my mind, that story of my grandmother. I feel a difference. I feel instead of sadness now, I feel angry. I feel angry at these people for disturbing me, my life, and I stand up and I call out. I have this feeling of strength, and although I am weak, my body is weak. I call out. I call out for mercy, for to give me freedom. I stand there, and these two men of coloured, different skin, different colour from me, pale, and they come over and they unchain me, and I think, they're going to give me freedom. Oh, my heart sings. And others call out as well, but they smack them. They just smack them. And I get taken up out of this box, this the sun is blinding me. Can't see properly. Can't see. The sun's too strong. Eventually, I can see. But what I see is these men, their faces, and I'm being pushed from one to the other, and they're pushing me and pushing me and pushing me, and they're laughing. They're laughing. And they're saying things, but I don't understand them. I don't understand the words that they are saying. But I know with their face, they're making a fool of me. And they push and they push and they push and they push, to eventually this one grabs me, and I become face to face with him. I know with the look on his face, And I tried to fight them off. They punched me. They punched me in my head is my face. And then and they punched into my side. I'm vomiting. They began to share my body. Until I had no fight left. And I remembered that I wanted to remember church. And I would see their smiling faces. And then I would feel them, these horrible, horrible men inside me. When we were finished, they were dragging me back with my arms. And they were dragging me back. And as you opened the hatch, they just kicked me. And as I fell, I heard my neck crack. And I was kind of lying upside down. Because I could see my legs still on the stair. And at first I never didn't feel anything. And I closed my eyes. must have fell asleep. Exhausted. I was traumatized. I all of a sudden opened my eyes because I could hear voices right over me. And I realized I was still there. And I could hear them talking, and they were angry. And I thought, get up and move away. But I couldn't move. I couldn't move at all. Tried to move my legs, tried to move my arms. And I don't know why I can't, but I can't. I don't know. And they're arguing. And I see one who pulls his dagger. Get up. Just get up. I can't move. I can't move at all. As you look down at it, it was that look in it. And the next thing I know, I'm choking in my own blood. And I realized he has killed me. I can't breathe. Oh my God, it was like my children. I would look after them. I would be a bad mother. Oh, my fault. My fault. Oh, wow. Oh, Colleen. Oh, my God. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, what a horrible way to die. I'm sorry. Oh. Oh, wow. How does that life connect to your life today?
Wow, like so many
I know, take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Big energetic hug right now. Take your time.
like so many
I think the first thing was like the children, because I have 5 kids and I only have 1 at home. And right now, my 4 older kids are all in, I got 2 in Texas, 1 in Florida, 1 in New Mexico, and we're in North Carolina. And my oldest son, him and his wife and my granddaughter just came to visit last week. And every time I have to say goodbye to my kids, I always feel like I'm overreacting, because it literally feels like my heart is being torn out, you know. And I think about it and I'm like, you know, my husband's like, Colleen, they're not dead, you're gonna see him again, like, but I can never explain this feeling inside of me that it's just, it's the most devastating feeling when I have to say goodbye to them. You know, so that kind of, that made sense. The jaw, I have problems with my jaw. Like, I can't open it, I can't close my neck. I have problems with my neck, my shoulders, and
hatch. When they threw you down the hatch, you broke your neck.
and the whole can't feel thing, and that being scary. When I had I think it was my son Andrew. I think I remember it was one of the kids. I had a C-section and they had to numb me. And when I couldn't feel my leg, I couldn't move. I started hyperventilating, and I thought I was going to go crazy because I couldn't move. I couldn't feel that. Like, they actually had to rush somebody in to sit and talk to me and try and talk me through that, because they couldn't unparalyze me, but I was just like, almost like completely freaking out in the operating room because of that. The whole, you had said, you made the comment something about it's my fault. I have this tendency to, like, I feel like everything is my fault all the time.
Taking the blame. Yeah.
You know, I don't like confrontation at all. You know, and her, like, and then you made the comment too, like, being made a fool of, like they were making fun of me, making a fool of me. I went through a situation where my husband cheated on me, and that was like the thing that I think I felt like bothered me the most, was that people were laughing at me. They were like ridiculing me and like just laughing and making a fool out of me. And then then I was sexually assaulted when I was, let's see, when I was 23 or 24, I was sexually assaulted, and I had 2 little kids. I had 2 little boys.
Oh my goodness, you were 22, 23 when you were taken. That would be the timeline.
Yeah.
That's the same timeline, age-wise. Oh, with the 2 children.
I had 2 little boys then. I was divorced, and I was in the Air Force, and I had gone to Panama, and that's where it happened, in Panama. And it's kind of weird, because you said, like, I was darker, but that person was pale. In this situation, I was the pale one, and he was
a dark one.
So, like,
reverse.
Yeah. But I feel like there were a lot of similarities going on, you know.
Well, we call it the mimicking, and the part of where the past life and how things mimic back into this life, you know, it can either be factual, the same situation, you know, factual. It can be associated, So in other words, there would be some form of association from the past to the present, timeline through the time process. So you've actually had all of them.
The other thing, I just thought of this. The other thing, I've gone to the doctor because at first they thought maybe I had a brain tumor or something, and no, there's times where I will have this smell. Sometimes it's when I'm sleeping, sometimes when I'm awake, and and I always, to me, I think of it as what rotten feces would smell like.
That's exactly
the worst god-awful smell. Like, sometimes it'll wake me up out of a dead sleep. It's so strong. And so, like, I'm like, there's got to be something. Like, of course, I'm Googling stuff. I'm like, oh, maybe I got a brain tumor. I go to the doctor. They do MRIs. They do all kinds of stuff, but they can never find anything wrong.
You were remembering the smell when you were on the boat. The smell on the boat, because that's exactly what you were sitting in. I mean, they didn't allow you out to go to the bathroom, or the restroom. It's the fact that you were virtually pissing and pooing in the one space that you were sitting in. And if you could imagine that with lots, and I mean lots of people, the smell was the one thing. I mean, you were like wrenching at the idea of it. And of course, eventually you were being sick, physically sick, throwing up. So the smell was just horrible smell. So in your sleep, when you go into deep sleep, we cross the bridge between conscious and unconscious. But in the subconscious to unconscious, we can travel through time, and and we will remember things from our past lives, our life today, past lives. And so when you're in your sleep, then you're waking up, but you're remembering, you're remembering part of that life, because that life holds misplaced karma. You never asked for them to come and take you from your home. You never asked for to be beaten and dragged along, and having all sorts of cuts and damage to you. You never asked to be multiple rape, in that way. And you certainly never asked to be thrown down in the hatch to the point of breaking your neck, and then having your throat slit and dying in your own blood. I mean, that's, you didn't ask for any of that stuff. That stuff was put on you, but when you were dying, there was a point of where you thought it was your fault. You took that on for whatever crazy reason, that you took that on. In that moment, it was like you were a bad mother, and it was all your fault. But it wasn't. And that's what we call misplaced karma. And that's why you're traveling through this life, having these moments come back to you. Sometimes they will inlay into your life so heavily, like the rape. You were the same age, you were raped. It's color reverse, and
Never, when when it happened,
excuse me.
I didn't feel like I could say anything, so I never reported it. And it wasn't until years and years later that that whole tailhook scandal came out with the military, and the VA sent out letters to all the female veterans saying, if you've ever experienced something like this, let us know and we'll help. We'll get you counseling, that kind of thing. And I must have sat on that letter for 9 months before I ever made a phone call. Because I just, I knew logically it wasn't my fault, but emotionally
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that's a big thing I struggle with. just on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
is just feeling like things are my fault. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's like logically, like it's like my brain is one place and my emotions are in another, and I can't get them to be in the same spot. So logically I know, okay, well, that wasn't my fault, but emotionally I'm still feeling that all the time.
Well, the emotion that you experienced on that boat, I can honestly say that no human being, especially a female human being, should ever experience that amount of trauma. You know, I mean, when you fought back and you did your absolute best of fighting back. But when you consider the amount of men to one female, you were never ever going to win that situation. But you fought back. And that was a good thing, because that allowed you to understand that you did your best at that point.
So I guess it's kind of like, I had a situation when I was about 25. I have several older brothers that were very, very mean. They were not sexually abusive or anything like that, but maybe sometimes like physically abusive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 25, I have one brother who attacked me, and literally he picked me up by the neck and he hit me against my parents. My parents were gone. They have these hard oak cabinets in their kitchen. He hit me so hard against it, it broke the cabinet away from the wall.
Mm.
And I was married to my husband now at the time. And so he was like, okay, you're either going to let me settle this with him, or you're going to go to the police station. So I went to the police station, and so he was arrested, and we had nothing to do with each other probably for almost 20 years. Well, maybe no, it's been about, I guess it was about 15 years. We didn't speak or anything. But at the time, my whole family was like, well, how could you do that? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
he's beating me up
Yeah.
in front of my children.
Yeah.
And, but it was that same thing, that it was like,
It was your fault.
it was my fault. Like somehow, like I was standing up for myself,
Mm-hmm.
but yet it was my fault.
Mm-hmm. The my fault process is that, because you took on board the karma, that you bring all that to you. So in other words, like in this life, you'd be bringing the blame to you. The unfortunate side of the sexual abuse, it's that attraction. The vibration is already there, so the attraction is already there. The process of you, this devastation feeling when every time your children's going away from you, that's from the past life as well, that whole process. But the one thing about this past life surrogacy is that this is why today is so important. It frees you from those feelings. It frees you from the negative aspect of the karmic situation that went on there. Now, it's never going to say, you never got raped, you never got beaten up, you never got dragged away from your home, you were torn emotionally away from your children. When you were being raped, it's the fact that you were thinking of how would your husband feel because you're getting raped. All of these things is not your fault. They're just not your fault. And today is about setting the record straight, karmically, energetically, which you are a vibration. You give off a vibration. But the vibration that you've been giving off has been a kind of a false one, because you took on board the blame for something that wasn't yours. So rightfully we put it back into the hands of who it was to blame. But at the same time, we don't put it back and we go, it's your fault. We don't put the finger, we don't judge in this space. But what we do is we set everyone free, everyone, including the perpetrators, including them, because karmically you want to be free. That's how we set the record straight. We understand, you understand, that wasn't your fault. And by recognizing that it's not your fault, you within you set free all these different vibrations that go, oh, over here, blame, yeah, I'll take some, I'm good at doing that, you know, or, you know, sexual abuse, oh, well, yeah, I'm your person, you know. You let all of that go, which frees you up in this life to then live a fuller, happier, more settled in yourself and your expression. And it's and through that expression, it's your intent becomes different in life, because your perception is now different. Your perception of all those things, even the fact of your brother and him, you know, grabbing you like that. My God, you were grabbed like that with more than 5 people, you know, in that boat. And now, you know, you can set that free. Now you're not putting that vibration out there saying, yeah, you can abuse me. You're not putting that vibration now. You're setting all that free, and that is so important for you. So important.
Can you help me maybe make the connection between, like, so I've wanted to start a business for a long time. And I feel like I'll take steps at it, but then I just stop. And I don't know why. And it's that whole logic versus something else. Like, I feel like I know I have all the tools. I'm a CPA. I've got a CPA license in 2 states. I mean, like, I have the knowledge. I have the desire. I want to do all these great and wonderful things, but then I feel like there's strings almost like pulling me back. It's like not letting me go and be this person that I want to be.
Because you were being the person that you wanted to be in that past life. And if we're connecting it to that past life, then you had made a home. You had made that. You worked towards that. That your whole life was about making a wonderful space for you, your husband, and your children. And that was your job. So if you relate it to job-wise, that was your job. That was ripped away from you, and you then felt that you did not do your job correctly. You did not. Who was going to look after your children? You felt that was a failure aspect. So the fear of starting something, the fear, and it's interesting because you're married. You're saying that you're married. You know, you have a home. You know, you have everything there. But yet you have all these fears when your children go, you know.
But our home moves because my husband is still active duty.
Okay.
So we are constantly in transition. We're constantly moving to a new place, you know.
Okay. So you've not really put down roots into one space. So that's an interesting factor, because what you're saying about starting a business, you know, is that would be putting down roots. That would be making, like, the home that, you know, in comparison to the past life, it's like that's your job. And if you're going to make that your job, well, according to this past life, you felt as if you'd failed. So in this life, you may even go, yeah, I've got great ideas, I've got this, I could make it fantastic, you know, and everything else. But you've got to take steps to it. You're going to back away from it. Because the closer you get to putting those roots down like that, according to this life, you would have the fear, the emotion, and sometimes it's not even, it reflects in this life, not that your mind is saying, I'm terrified of doing this, so I'm not going to do it. You don't think that way, because it's a vibration. And the closer you get to the vibration of it mimicking the past, the closer you get to it in this life, that's what triggers the fears, the phobias, the anxieties, the I don't know if I can do
Well,
this.
I must be getting really close because my anxiety when I wake up in the morning is off the charts.
No,
Like,
mhm. And that's the whole point right there. So today is about clearing that. It's like, you know, it's becoming that level neutral. It's like going back to neutral again, and then it can
I
allow
have to
you to move forward.
to clear that, or do I have to do something to clear that, or
We're going to do that now. We're going to do that now.
Okay.
There is an energetic process that I do that helps to speed that process up. And the fact that we bear witness to this life, this past life, and the fact that we can connect that past life to this life like the way that we have actually done, then that proves the factor that that past life has a bearing, a strong vibrational bearing on this life. So
I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Like,
oh,
I feel like I've just been struggling and not knowing why. And now at least I know, like, okay, now it kind of makes sense. You know, it's like.
mhm. And it's through that understanding that sets you free. And that's why, right at the very beginning, when I was told, you know, that I was going to be this surrogate, you know, for people, you know, and when I was shown the whole process of how it would happen, it was the one thing that really triggered in me was the fact that it was about setting people free and bringing an understanding. It was the power of that understanding for you, you know, to recognize that, you know, for some people it's the fact that, no, they're not going off their head. You know, it's like you going to these smells and you're going to and having MRRs, you know, or MIRs, whatever it's called, you know, and not finding a condition, and possibly even being labelled as, you know, you're just imagining things, you know, to actually have that label removed, to have that misconception of your doctor being removed, you know, these things. And okay, we cannot change the fact that, yes, there was a rape in this life as well. But now understanding that the signal, the vibration was there, and now it's a case of where you can stand up for yourself, you can talk forward, and you can understand that it had nothing to do with you. Because even although in this life you could logically look at and say, I did not instigate that, the emotion and the fear and the energy within you would be telling you something else. And that was from the past life.
So is it possible that, I want to say, you know, probably in the last year, maybe 2 years, that maybe these two were so parallel that how do I want to say this? Because it's almost like there's this, like I struggle to, even when I'm in a really happy, joyous kind of situation, I kind of struggle to be in the moment of that happiness and that joy.
Well,
Like,
you did disconnect yourself.
Yeah, it's almost like I disconnect myself from the happiness and the joy that's going on. And I don't mean to, but I notice that I kind of do. It's almost like I'm a step away from it or something.
Well, to me, that's a part of the past life where when sorry for the way I say it, but the multiple rapes were going on, that you took yourself into the happy time with your children, and you wanted to link that happy time so that you didn't feel the pain, didn't feel the emotion, you know. And when you linked into that, you were really happy. But then all of a sudden, you were back in that space. So linking happiness in this life with the disconnection, because you disconnected yourself from the point of where all the rapes were going on. That was a self-preservation. So self-preservation in this life is that, and also I have to say, because it's coming back to me, that, you know, you didn't want to then taint the memory of your children with such a negative experience. Mm-hmm. So in this life, it can be exactly the way your skin tone is, mm-hmm. the reverse. And now, when you're in a happy situation, you feel that you need to disconnect that happiness from the pain and emotion that is locked up inside you. So because of that, it means then that, you know, how can I say this, that there'll be times where, and you could probably remember multiple times where everybody's having such a fantastic time, you're all having a whale of a time, and then all of a sudden you want to disappear, or you want to disconnect from it, or you think, why can't I engage?
Right.
Why can't I be laughing that jolly laugh? You know,
like that, just that free, like you're just free, you know what I mean? Like free to be happy. And I feel like I don't, it's
well,
just
that you didn't have that in that life. You did have it before they came along, but you didn't have it. It was taken from you. So, and you were in captivity. So, and you died in captivity. So there's a sense of not being free. Mm-hmm. You would have a sense of not being free in this life. You know, we're talking about, in this short space of time here, we're grasping the how can I say, we're grasping the kind of a bullet points, you know, the major bullet points, not just minor major bullet points, but there will be many levels. As I said right at the beginning, it could be days after this, you know, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, is that why I felt like that? Is that why I did that in this life? Is that why I couldn't engage? Is that why, you know? And you're going to ask yourself that question for the next couple of days, because things will just pop into your head. And they're just popping into your head because that's a point of release. And when these pop into your head, your energy is actually letting them go. But it's just that witnessing. You're just witnessing in your mind for that moment. Wow, that's why I done that as well. You know, that was why I couldn't do that, or that's why I drew away from that. You know, because you're going to remember all these things. And it's such a wonderful awakening, but it's also such a liberation at the same time.
And it's sad to think that she was tortured, that I was tortured. You know, it's like I say she, but I mean I, but you know, it's like that happened, you know, like that.
But you also have to remember her resilience. She was, or you were, you know, she was resilient. And she would have survived all of that rape, all of that multiple, you know, process, the beatings and everything else, if they had allowed her to walk down the stair, you know, the stairwell. But they threw her. And, you know, you the way that you landed, but it broke your neck. And that's what severed the feeling to your body. So you would. I hate the way I say this, but as brutal as it sounds, but they were never going to be able to sell you,
Right?
Because you weren't going to be able to do anything, and so therefore you became worthless to them. And that's another sense that you must identify with in this life. If you've ever felt worthless. You know, is to understand that you are not worthless in this life.
I do have, and this has been a topic of conversation between my husband and I quite often, because I can work my butt out for somebody. I mean, I get, like, when I was working for this company, I had my client reviews as an accountant. I had perfect client reviews for over a decade, you know, and I will give it my all. If I'm working or volunteering for something, I mean, I give it 100%. But when it comes to, so like this business with me, it's like I have this block with charging people for what I can provide.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know why.
Well, remember, you were going to be sold. You were going to be sold. So it's going to be very difficult for you to sell yourself. Hear how I say that? To sell yourself.
Makes no sense. Yeah.
You know, but going and helping or being employed by somebody else or volunteering, that's you're going to be able to you're now going to be able to put into your business that energy that you've given to other people. You should be able to put that into your business now, because you're not selling. There's no need for you to sell yourself, you know, in the concept of how you've thought your energy has been in the past.
Right.
Okay? So by clearing the vibration, it means then that you're opening the doorway for you to start this business if you want to, and put 100% into it, knowing that it will be successful, because that was who you were. You were successful. You run a successful home, amazing home, you know, in that way. So, yeah. So, if you want, we can do the energy part just now.
Yes, definitely.
Yay! Okay, so again, all you have to do is just sit, relax, enjoy that space. When you hear my voice again, I will talk you through it. And when you hear my voice again, that will be your cue to just follow what I say. Okay? And it can take a couple of minutes to do this, so don't be alarmed if it takes a wee bit longer. Okay. You may feel heat, coolness, tingling, rippling sensations move through your body. You may even have visual flashbacks momentarily. And you may even meet yourself. And if you do, just imagine that you give yourself a huge big hug. Just enjoy. start to become aware of your feet and your ankles, your calves and your knees, and your thighs and your hips. Become aware of the trunk of your body, your arms, your hands and your fingers, your neck and your shoulders, your head and your face. Take a nice, deep, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, you can open your eyes. How do you feel? Did you have any heat, coolness, tingling, rippling sensation?
Some tingling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting outside, so, and it's kind of warm, so I don't know if I felt any heat or not. Like,
It's going to be hot.
I'm not sure which way it came from.
Okay. So did you have any visions, any colors or anything at all like that?
Not really.
No, that's okay. Because a lot of people don't, because they're just so releasing. You know, they're into either thinking of the past life or releasing the past life or just being still.
I did have a thought that popped into my head, though, during it, and that was, does she have a name?
Oh, her name is Dabada. Let me say that again. Dabada.
Dabada?
Don't ask me what it means.
Okay.
Dabada, because I could hear when she was being pulled away, people were calling her name, you know, Dabada, Dabada,
Dabada.
Dabada.
Okay.
I have no idea what that means. The one thing I do want to say as well, that when I was doing the clearing there, sometimes things will come up again that's of great importance to you in this life. And that was when you were being punched here into the side here. Have you had any problems with, like, you know, like,
I have. Like, occasionally I'll have like a sharp pain.
okay.
But again, I went to the doctor and that
They don't know what's wrong. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that, because this area became, it's what we term as a weakness. So it's called the weak spot. So in your physical body, that would be the weak spot, you know, so this area here. But you had because of your neck, breaking your neck, and because of being dragged and everything hitting along the shoulders, you know, and yes, you had cuts on your legs and things like that, but they didn't kill you. Do you understand? You know, that's not what killed you. So, but your neck and your shoulders would play a big part as well in this life.
Okay.
You know? And I don't know if you suffer in this life from like headaches.
I have migraines.
Because I was going to say the explosion of pain when you were being multiple beaten up in your head was really quite bad. So
Like, I actually woke up about 4 o'clock this morning with a terrible headache.
right. So
Like, and it almost felt like it was like right in this area, right in here.
mm-hmm. And of course this is where you landed, you know, obviously to the back of the head, and the head is pushed forward, and that's what breaks the neck, you know. But that's interesting, and it's also interesting that you were up at 4 this morning. You know, doing that as well. So, but thank you very much for allowing me to work with your beautiful energy, and I just wish the very, very best for you now.
Thank you very much. And where will I go to get this video, or how does that?
So on the messenger where I sent you the link, you're going to send me your email. Okay. And then I will send you the video, you know. Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank
you so
and
much.
keep a diary over the next few days.
Okay.
And then just come back and tell me, you know, anything that you remembered. Okay. Mwah. Love you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.